Hey guys, how you doing? Luna here with a new video. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm really excited because we're going to be ranking every single song on the wonderful and greatly influential album Revolver by the Beatles. We've done it once before with Sgt. Pepper's, and honestly I had a lot of fun making that video, so I thought why not do the same exact thing this time with an album that's even better than Sgt. Pepper's, because yeah, in my opinion Revolver represents the epitome of the Beatles as a creative force. Therefore I think it's one of the best releases by the band and one of the greatest pieces of music ever made, actually. So ranking the songs in this album wasn't really that easy because, again, I think that every song on this album is above average. This is a really solid track list. That's why I want to make sure you guys understand that the only metric used for the ranking of these songs was my own personal opinion. I'm pretty sure you guys have your own, so if you do, you can go ahead and leave it down below in the comments and I'll make sure to read it and give you my opinion on your list. I don't really want to make this intro too long. We have 14 songs to go through, so let's just go on with the first song. At number 14, we have Love You Too by George Harrison. Now let me clear up once again, I don't really think this song is bad just because I put it at number 14, okay? This is Revolver by the Beatles. There's not such thing as a bad song in here. With that being said, I do still think that this is one of the weakest songs in the record. I know that this song was very groundbreaking for the Indian music scene. It popularized the genre, you know, but I just don't think it matches the energy of the record that well. I believe that even though the first listen is very hypnotizing and it's a very interesting song, the lyrics are kind of, you know, thought-provoking too. On subsequent listens, the layers of mystery the track has kind of peel off and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel that interesting anymore. That is the main reason why it's at number 14. Plus, I believe the drumming and the sitar feel a little too invasive in the instrumental. Also, the way George Harrison's vocals are produced in here is way too aggressive and it doesn't really match the energy of the album at all. So yeah, I believe it's a great song. However, it's at number 14 because it just doesn't really, it's not my favorite part in the album. At number 13, we have Dr. Robert, and I have to say it feels kind of odd putting the song so low on the list because I really do enjoy it. You know, I like when the song plays in the album. However, I don't really find any reasons to put it higher apart from the hook, you know, with those hypnotizing vocals that give the song this dreamy vibe that the whole album has. I think that's the only thing that connects the song to the rest of the album, which is the reason why it lands in number 13. It's not a bad song at all, it's just not really as entertaining and as interesting as some of the other songs that are above it. At number 12, we have Yellow Submarine, the only Ringo Starr song on this album, and honestly, I know that you're not supposed to take this song seriously. I know that this is a song made for kids, and I know that originally it wasn't even supposed to be on the album. So a lot of you would put this song at the very bottom of the list, and you know, for many of you it's blasphemy that Love You Too is lower than this one, but in my opinion, it's a very cute song. I love Ringo's vocals. I love the dynamics by the very end of the song where it, you know, it kind of sounds like they're in a pub celebrating or they're inside the submarine, I don't know, but I just like the fun and playful energy of the track. And even if it doesn't really match that well with the energy of the album, once again, this is a very groundbreaking and innovative psychedelic project in the 60s, the most revolutionary decade in the history of music. So having a song like Yellow Submarine in it doesn't really make that much sense, but when you understand the lore of the band and you know that Ringo always has like a playful tune inside every album, you kind of appreciate the track for what it is, you know, Ringo Starr's contribution to the vocal side of this album. So for that reason, I put it at number 12 above Dr. Robert and Love You Too. At number 11, we have She Said, She Said. I absolutely love the opening guitar riff this song offers, and I love the abstract lyricism. John was always a hit or miss when it came to this sort of lyrical concepts. You'll find me, you know, if you look at other videos in my channel, you'll see that I often hate when he uses this sort of lyricism because honestly, it just sounds like the man's going crazy, but when he uses it in a playful way, like in this song, it's honestly amazing and it's really entertaining. The only thing I don't really like about this song is the bass. It's too loud, too in your face, and honestly, I just don't like the way it's played. I often love Paul McCartney's contributions as a bass player to the band, but honestly, this is not the case. I believe that a more, you know, meandering style of bass playing would have been better for this track, but you know, I'm not the member of one of the greatest bands ever, so what do I know? But apart from that little detail, I think this is the first song I've talked about that actually follows the psychedelic energy of the album. It's very colorful and joyful. It's not really that long. There's not a lot more to say about this track. Isn't number 11, but it's a great track and it almost makes it to the top 10. At number 10, we have Good Day Sunshine by the wonderful Paul McCartney, the first Paul McCartney song on the list. And fuck, I wanted to put this song higher. Paul had this ability with the Beatles, and in his whole discography too actually, to to create melodies and songs and instrumentations that instantly make you feel better if you're having a bad day. Like, this is my go-to song when I'm on my way to work. I absolutely love this track, and I know some of you may be thinking right now, okay, if you love it so much, why is it so low on the list? Well, it's Revolver, once again, a groundbreaking psychedelic album, one of the most groundbreaking works by the band, so putting such a merry-go tune higher up the list when we have songs like Tomorrow Never Knows, I Want to Tell You, Elanor Rigby higher, wouldn't actually represent my feelings when it comes to the ranking of the songs. You know, I enjoy this song, the lyrics are also very cute, and this is just such a joyful track. It definitely deserves to be in the top 10. At number 9 we have And Your Bird Can't Sing. Now I definitely like Good Day Sunshine more than this one, but this song actually follows the psychedelic energy of the album, and that's kind of reason enough for me to put it higher. The fuzzy guitar playing, the riffs, the drumming, you know, the amazing performance by John, and some of my favorite lyrics by him too. So yeah, even if the track is not that long and it's definitely not as interesting as some of the other compositions in this album, I still think that while it lasts, it captures the essence of the album very well, and it gives you a fun and exciting rush before Paul McCartney slows it down in the next song. And talking about the next song, at number 8 we have For No One. This is one of the most elegant songs that Paul McCartney ever penned down with the Beatles. First of all, it has one of my favorite lyrical concepts by Paul McCartney, telling the story of this lady who stops listening to the lies of men, who doesn't believe in fake promises anymore, and becomes a truly independent woman. I absolutely love the way the story is told. I love the melody, it's so sophisticated and elegant. Adorn the whole thing with McCartney's old-fashioned vocals and piano playing, and you have yourself a great track. It's true that this is basically a solo track. The only other Beatle included in the instrumentation of this song was Ringo with the percussion, and that might be the reason why I don't really put it any higher. I just don't really think that it matches the energy of the rest of the album. I know I'm going to be saying that a lot in this video, but once again, like, you guys have to understand that Revolver is one of the most groundbreaking records. It was released in the most groundbreaking decade in the history of music, so you need to match the energy of the record for me to give you extra points, and this song simply doesn't really do that. However, the elegance, beauty, and sophistication of the song and its lyrical concept is more than enough for me to bring it all the way up to spot number 8. At number 7 we have George Harrison's I Want to Tell You, and I don't care if I have to fight people in the comments, this song is not going any lower. I mean, how can you listen to this song and don't recognize all the elements that not only make it an enjoyable track and incredibly fun, but also super interesting? First of all, the piano playing is energetic and potent, the drumming sounds loud and sharp, and then you have the voice mods that create this dissonance between Paul McCartney's and George Harrison's vocals. The performance and the instrumentation communicate this feeling of happiness that the lyrics are trying to describe when you have so many things to say in your head that you're unable to actually say anything. I absolutely love this song. It's one of my favorite moments in the album, and it's a clear example that George Harrison's songwriting was already amazing way before Abbey Road and way before the White Album. At number 6 we have Got to Get You Into My Life, and I'm about to contradict the hell out of myself here because once again, there's not a lot of things in the instrumentation of this song that adds to the whole psychedelic energy of the album. I know that you're probably tired of me saying that, but it's just a really important factor. So if I believe it's so important, how is this song so high as, you know, spot number 6? Well, I have no idea. This is just one of my favorite moments in the album. It's one of my favorite Paul McCartney compositions with the Beatles, so I'm not gonna put it any lower. I'm just not gonna do it. Even if I can't make a proper argument on why I want to put it all the way up here, I am not gonna place this song any lower than songs like I Want to Tell You or For No One. I just feel like the energy of his voice in every single second of the song is so enjoyable and energetic that you cannot help but smile every time you listen to this song. It's easy to think that this is a love song, but actually this is a song about drugs, about the feeling of doing drugs for the first time. Apparently, according to Paul, it's a very eye-opening experience, which gave birth to the lyrics of this song. Honestly, if I had it my way, I would put the song in the top 5 and maybe even the top 3 because I've listened to the song more than almost every other track in this album, but I believe that there's other songs here that enjoy a similar level of quality, enjoyability, but have a much more interesting concept that stick to the psychedelic energy of the album. So I'm leaving it here, but honestly, if you haven't heard this song before, go ahead and give it a try because I promise you your life is going to be better automatically. At number 5 we have Taxman by George Harrison, the opening track on the album, the one that really sets the mood of the entire listen with its sharp guitar sounds and its groovy bass line. This is also one of the first great songs George Harrison wrote with the Beatles. You do have songs like like If I Needed Someone and I Need You, written a year prior, but this was the first time a George Harrison song felt so important inside of an album, and an album like Revolver, nonetheless, one of the greatest releases of all time. I know that some people put it higher on their list, some even at number 1, which is kind of crazy, but I have a problem with the guitar solo. It's way too messy, and George Harrison's vocals are produced a little too aggressively, which is the main reason why it's not higher on this list. But it's a song that complains about taxes, and that's more than enough reason for me to put it high on the list. At number 4, we have Paul McCartney's Here, There, and Everywhere, one of the most beautiful songs ever made. This lullaby by Paul is one of my favorite moments in the entire album. I feel like the intimacy in his voice, the beautiful lyrics, the subtle guitar playing, and the backing vocals, all of it create an atmosphere of beauty that is unmatched inside the album. The production is one of the main reasons why I love this song so much. The multi-layered vocals by Paul come and go, and sometimes you can only listen to one of the vocal tracks, and that creates this brief moments of intimacy between you and Paul that's very, very enjoyable. Once again, I can't really put the song any higher. It simply doesn't have all the psychedelic elements that the rest of the album does have, so it stays at number 4, but honestly, this is one of the most beautiful songs Paul McCartney ever wrote. Well, on the topic of beautiful songs by Paul McCartney, we have Eleanor Rigby in spot number 3. Now listen, it would be very easy for me to put this song in number 1. I mean, it has some of the most creative songwriting in the entire album. It's definitely the most recognizable and popular song off the record, so why not put it at number 1? I mean, I love the dark implications of the lyrics, and the string arrangements make this one of Paul's most elegant songs. But as I said multiple times in this video, the metrics that I'm using for this song is my opinion, and for me, I don't really think the song contributed all that much to the album. Obviously, the legacy of the record, I'm sure it benefited from the popularity and the praise the song received when it was released, but for me, the fact that this song is so different from the rest of the track and it doesn't even follow a similar sound palette kind of makes the whole thing a little weird. When you listen to the song, you feel like it belongs to a different album. There's not a lot of psychedelia in this song, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't match the energy of the rest of the album. I know I've said that 1,000 times in this video, but it's really important that you guys understand that the contributions a song offers to an album is really important too when it comes to ranking the song. So even though I'm willing to admit that maybe this song was the greatest achievement by the band in 1966, I don't think that the song shines inside the album as much as it does outside of the record. But once again, I'll give all my praises to this song because it's one of the best compositions by Paul McCartney, both with the Beatles and as a solo artist. I believe that if I were to make a ranking of every single Beatles song ever released, this song would definitely be in the top 10 or top 20. That's how much praise I have for the track. But in the context of Revolver, it's true that this song feels a little out of place. If it weren't for that, it would definitely be closer to number 1. Maybe not number 1, but definitely closer. So for now, it stays at number 3. It's an amazing song, legendary classic, beautiful, elegant, and sophisticated, but number 3. At number 2, we have I'm Only Sleeping, and I know that for some of you this is going to be very, very high, and it's not even that I think that this song is underrated. I know for a fact that there's a lot of people in the internet that are very open about their praise for this song. The main reason why I'm putting this song so high on the list is mainly because I feel like this song represents the energy and the essence of Revolver as an album. I believe that the texture of the guitars, the vocals, the performance, the melody, the backing vocals, the voice mods and looped guitars, every element is super important and it helps the track in a different way. Actually, along with Got to Get You Into My Life, I'm pretty sure this is the song I've heard the most. I absolutely love it. I think this is one of John Lennon's best compositions, not only with the Beatles, but as a solo artist as well. And if it weren't for the fact that the number 1 spot is filled by one of the most groundbreaking songs ever made, I would definitely love to put this song as the very peak of the Beatles' work in this album, But the reality is that there's one more song other than this one that represents not only the essence of the album, but also the essence of the Beatles as a band at the beginning of one of the greatest creative runs of all time, better than this one. At number 1, we have Tomorrow Never Knows by John Lennon. Obviously, clearly, we all knew that this was going to be number 1. Any list that doesn't have this song as their number 1 spot loses all credibility immediately. This is John Lennon's most well-executed attempt to create a psychedelic song, a really immersive experience. It takes you to another world through its sound palette. The drumming is amazing. Ringo Starr is a genius. I mean, his ability to adapt to all the different styles of music the band was was playing around with at the time is incredible. The song pulls you into this imaginary world that only exists in your head, as the lyric tells you to surrender to the void, and it's really hard not to, especially when you're listening to all these looped sounds and reverse guitars, fast-paced drumming, and the vocal mods. It's just a wall of sound and different things going on at the same time that creates this immersive experience that honestly, the first time I heard it, I was alone in my room and I literally had an epiphany. This song is responsible for changing my perspective on the band after the mid-60s, when they started to be a little more experimental and a little more innovative. I wasn't really a big fan. I was more a fan of the Beatlemania years, the pop rock tunes that are so enjoyable and so easy to listen to. But after I heard Tomorrow Never Knows, it's like something clicked. I understood what the songs were meant to be. And even though, a lot of people say that this is just a bunch of sounds put together and that people overrate the song way too much, the importance of what the track represents is more than enough to put it at number one. I mean, the band had a kaleidoscope of sounds in this album, and at the very center of all that experimentation and all those different ideas that they were having at the time, you find Tomorrow Never Knows. This is the epitome of the band as a creative force, as I said at the beginning of the video. The fact that it closes the album works as some sort of prelude to what the band was going to do in Sgt. Pepper's Magical Mystery Tour and, the White Album. That's what this track means for me, and that is the reason why I put it at number one. It's an amazing piece of music, one of the best by the band, and once again, if you see anyone put Elanor Rigby, I'm Only Sleeping, Taxman, any other song other than this one as the best song from Revolver, in my opinion, and even though I know that everyone perceives music differently, I can't think of someone that would listen to the song and not recognize it as the peak of the Beatles in 1966, okay? So that is the reason why I put it at number one. However, that is only my personal opinion, so if you have your own, and I'm pretty sure you do, you can go ahead and leave it down below in the comments, and I'll make sure to read it and give you my opinion on your opinion. I really do hope you guys enjoyed my list. I'm really excited to see your own list down below. I want to see if you guys disagree with me with the number one spot, which again, I think it's almost impossible for it to happen. I know that people see Tomorrow Never Knows as the peak of the Beatles in that album, so I don't really see anyone putting any other song there. But if you do, go ahead and leave it down below, give me your reasoning, and we can have a small conversation in the comments section. I truly hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any other videos that I upload. If you want me to talk about any other topics related to music, if you want me to check out a song, album, or artist, leave it down below as well, and I'll make sure to read it and fulfill your requests as soon as I can. Once again, I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope that I can see you soon with a new video. But until then, bye.